Oh my gosh, Friday is going to clear out nicely with the exception of some lingering lake effect snow, but overall it is like exceptionally better. Thanks to our virtual view technology, I'm standing in Buffalo where cloudy skies will turn sloppy on Thanksgiving with rain and snow at higher elevations. Then that lake effect is going to move in as we head over the weekend. And some of those bands between Erie and Buffalo could really ramp up the snow totals. You want to keep an eye on the 49ers and Bills game in Orchard Park on Sunday night. Jordan, will you do me a big favor real quick here? Will you Google exactly where Orchard Park is because I want to look on this forecast. I feel like it's south of Buffalo, but for some reason I'm doubting my memory on that. So I just want to be certain. Oh, yeah, southeast. OK, good. So my memory was pretty OK. So Orchard Park is going to be southeast of Buffalo. So that means they actually could get in on some of that lake effect snow. Buffalo kind of, I don't want to say stays out of it, but they do really with these bands. They shift a little into Buffalo, but Orchard Park is going to get it. And then, of course, Watertown, you get a little elevation here as well. And so that means we're going to see big time snow. And it lasts, that lake effect. This is just winds. You don't have a synoptic scale system like a low pressure going over it that would make this matters even worse. But 2 to 3 feet are possible here, and we could see a foot or more just south of the Buffalo area. GFS, maybe a little more widespread here just south of Buffalo, but overall we have the same forecast. And how this all happens is you have cold air going over the relatively warm lakes, and that means lake effect. They're wide open. When they freeze over, you can't get that moisture to evaporate, right? Because it's covered in ice. So temperatures are 10 to 20 degrees below average, sitting into the 20s and the 30s. Our lakes are at record warm temperatures. So the cold air goes over them and evaporates the moisture, and then it hits the land and it's like, and it, it's kind of like when you're walking and you like trip and you throw stuff. That's how I think of the atmosphere with lake effect snow. I'm sure my professors would not love that as an example, but that's how I kind of think of it when it is coming over the lakes and then it hits the friction and it tosses all the snow out. And you'll see that's what's going to happen here. I mean, it's a very simplistic way of describing what happens, but it's one way to kind of think of it. And we already have watches here because we know that this is going to happen. These aren't until Friday through next Monday is when those advisories are posted. But look, it's just wind blowing over. That's it. No low pressure causing this. It goes through our Friday, our Saturday, and even into our Sunday as well. So this is kind of a long duration event, even holding into our Monday. So there'll be a lot of shoveling in our forecast here, Lynette, over time, because all the lakes are going to pump out the snow.
Yeah, and I hope people are listening, because if not, they are.
Welcome back into America's Morning headquarters. It is Thanksgiving Eve, and hundreds of thousands of you will be strapping on your running shoes and heading out tomorrow across the U.S. Communities preparing the finish lines for more than 840 turkey trots. That number still amazes me. I mean, it makes sense, right? Every town seems to have one. Let's have a look at the forecast in Dallas. This actually isn't too bad. You could get a PR with this because you have comfortable temperatures. That means basically a personal record with how fast you are, because a cooler air, you can sometimes run faster, and the clouds as well. The 5K race has been a holiday tradition for over 50 years. You're encouraged to dress up in your favorite Thanksgiving-themed costume. How about we take you to the Mile High United Way Turkey Trot? 9,000 runners is what we get nearly each year. There's even a 1 mile Little Gobbler run. Beautiful weather. Again, you're going to have to be bundled, though, for this one. Though once you start running, you want to take all those layers off, right? Atlanta, it starts off wet, which is really tough. After crushing this course, you can get a slice of post-race pie. If a half is too long, there's also a 5K and a mile dash. So you have options here, Lynette.
Yeah, options are always good. You'd have to dangle the pie in front of me.
For a flight, she doesn't even check the bag, and she's ready to go.
I'm ready to go, but the question is TSA ready to go and shuffle everyone through, right? It's like they tried those lane once where it was like expert traveler and kind of down the line. That didn't work, but it was worth the effort because those of us who travel all the time, we got it all organized. Boom. It's really a different experience. Anyhow, we have our system developing, some snow into Denver. It is going to basically reach into the Midwest as we head into tonight and then make a mess of the East Coast for our Thanksgiving Day. The Macy's Day Parade is going to be rough with a capital R. Green light means go. That's what we have at the airports right now across the board. forward. We do have some stronger turbulence, not surprising, with our system here into Colorado. And that's really the energy that's going to be sweeping eastbound and also traversing 70 here, 80 getting in on some of that mess, and then several highways here from the Mississippi River eastbound. We will all get in on some clouds and some showers, maybe some delays. Memphis over to Kansas City, Denver this morning, you could see some issues. No problems in the Northeast. We have got just some clouds, but we don't have any precip to really contend with. How are our wait times? This is phenomenal. Only 12 minutes at JFK. A lot of people have been traveling international, but a lot of those people left on Friday. Kids have the whole week off of school. I don't remember that as a kid. I feel like you only had like Thanksgiving Day and the day after off, but maybe my memory is wrong, but that's what I remember. You'll need those sunglasses here into the Northeast if you're traveling. Maybe you have your favorite pie or casserole dish. You got everything kind of balanced in the car. You drive really slow so it doesn't tip over and spill, or maybe you're the person that has to hold everything and you just have all that beautiful smell wafting into you. It's so, so good. Those bags are great though now that are insulated. You can put everything in there and it stays like nice and tight and secure and warm also. If you are traveling by air in the Southeast, not a lot of problems, and New Orleans dropping down to 9 minutes at TSA, which is great. Dallas is the biggest at 30. I feel like a lot of people do Friendsgiving today, you know, and you get to double up on Thanksgiving. I wish we could have the Thanksgiving meal multiple times a year. It's my favorite meal of the whole year. Today, Nashville, some showers. And I don't think we're going to have any issues, but there's a lot of connections going on between Charlotte, Atlanta, and especially Dallas here into the South. Houston, too, get some connections.
Why can't you have Thanksgiving meals?
You could, but it's just a lot to cook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Minor detail.
Yeah.
And when there's only two of us in my house, it's like, you know, trying to make everything just in smaller portions is really hard. Though I guess I could make it and bring it to work and give it away to people. I'm sure they would.
Let's do it.
Jordan would do it. I know he would eat it.
Heck yeah.
15 to 20 minutes for our wait times into the Midwest, the big airports. Minneapolis, a big connecting airport too. And Minneapolis is a really nice airport. I actually like that airport a lot. Chicago, of course, major connections going on there at both those airports. Some issues with the airports here where the rain is, but it's not too heavy, so I don't think we're going to have severe delays. In the West, we are good to go at the moment. Delays are not bad for us here, and we basically stay dry as our system moves east, finally getting rid of that atmospheric river. Well, our holiday travel forecast special stream,
ready to come home.
And one of those places known for lake effect is Buffalo, thanks to our virtual view reality. I'm standing in Buffalo, where the cloudy skies could turn sloppy on Thanksgiving, rain and then snow at some of those higher elevations. Then we have the lake effect that will move in on Friday and over the weekend. It sticks around into the beginning of next week. Some of those bands between Erie and Buffalo could really ramp up the snow totals. Keep an eye on the 49ers and the Bills, who some people think are going to win the whole thing this year. That, of course, is in Orchard Park on Sunday night. And I'm talking about the Super Bowl. We had Kevin Roth from Roto-Grinder on yesterday, and that's who he's calling. Now, Orchard Park is southeast of Buffalo, so we could get in on some of that snow. It's going to be close. It all depends exactly how these wibble and wobble. And we will also see that snow getting into Watertown, just north of Syracuse, maybe dropping down into Syracuse a bit. So many kids there, right? A lot of them home for Thanksgiving, but maybe they're staying in the Cuse and not leaving. They are going to get some of that snow, but the heaviest stuff will be north of Syracuse and also south of Buffalo, where we could see a couple feet of snow. 'Tis the season. The GFS has it as well. What happens is the cold air goes over the relatively warmer lakes, picks up all this moisture, and then snows out. So our temperatures, our air temperatures in the 20s and 30s. The lakes are at record warm levels. And so as the cold air goes over them, right, you have Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario. It is going to pick up that moisture, and then it hits the land. And it basically, I always feel like when you're walking and then maybe you hit the carpet and you're carrying something and then you drop it out, kind of what the atmosphere does. Once it hits this friction in this land, there's convergence at the surface, and the convergence means that you have winds coming together, they're going to come up and it's going to snow out. So that's what we are going to see with the cold air flowing over all of the lakes. There is that lake effect snow happening for us. Already advisories, these are very early for advisories to come out, usually maybe a day before type of a thing, but this is for Friday till next Monday, just to let you know that we are going to have it. And this is just the wind blowing over the lake. There's no synoptic help. You don't have a low pressure or front coming over. That would be more lake enhanced snow, technically speaking. Lake effect is when you just have the winds going over it here. And that's all it is for us. We really don't have loads of weather systems coming through like we have seen. But in all, 1-2 feet of snow coming off all of the lakes for us here. And it's about that fetch. Look at the fetch going over. The longer the fetch is over the spine of the lake, the more snow you get, which keeps us in Cleveland out of the snow because you would need a north wind. You see, we'll get in a little bit with it shifting around, but overall, Lynette, the heaviest stuff is going to be east of here.
Yeah, I know people that love the snow that are east.
Wait, that's how you do your train?
Yeah.
Oh, I always did.
Right?
Yeah, that's cute. No, this is the one that I was always a back and forth like that. But you're going to have to teach me your ways, Lynette. Oh, you get a little. Okay, I'm gonna have to learn that way.
Let's fly the bird in. Everybody's laughing at me. All right, let's talk about what's going on. So right now.
Welcome back into America's Morning Headquarters. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and hundreds of thousands of you will be strapping on your running shoes and heading outside tomorrow. Across the U.S., communities are preparing the finish line for more than 840 turkey trots this year. That's a lot of trotting. Let's check out some of the forecasts for our big day. We're going to start you into Charlotte with our turkey trot. This is the largest race in North Carolina, more than 10,000 runners last year. This might motivate you to run fast because that's pretty miserable rain with the 50s and 60s. That's not great running weather. Be very careful running. You don't slip there, especially if there's any leaves. They can be as slippery as ice when they're wet. And then we have the Buffalo YMCA Turkey Trot. Oldest foot race in the world, marks its 129th consecutive start this year. Oldest foot race in the world? Okay. Race caps at 14,000 participants, a lot of them who dress up in costume. You want to dress up warm here as we do have that snow coming down. All right, the Dallas YMCA, they do a lot of turkey trots apparently around the country. 5K race has been a holiday tradition for over 50 years. This is another one where they dress up. Lynette, running, is hard enough as it is in a whole costume and everything. I guess if you're just doing it for fun, but if you're a serious runner, it can slow you down and mess you up.
Yeah, hello. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, they have